Today is December 4th, 2024, which is the 10-year anniversary of me starting this YouTube channel, which wasn't always known as Coliwood Studios, but for all intents and purposes, this is the 10th year birthday of Coliwood Studios. So for this special video, there's a lot of things I incorporated into this. Towards the end, you guys are going to see the pictures you may or may not have sent in of you guys with me at the parks, which I really appreciate all of you that sent those in. But I'm going to kind of go through each year of Coliwood Studios history, go over how I kind of got to where I am now, going through all the trials and tribulations, because trust me, there were a lot. It took a very long time to get to where I am now. So let's take a step all the way back to 2014. When I started this channel on December 4th, 2014, it was not called Coliwood Studios, it was called Ultimate Filthy NJ, which laugh at that name please, because that was a spin off my dad's original YouTube channel that he never used. I had been using that for maybe a couple of videos, and I decided to make my own YouTube channel, and I called it that because I really didn't know what to call it. But in 2014, there was only about a month I was even making videos on the channel. It was a lot of really bad quality videos, a lot of Lego animations, and a couple of RCT3 things here and there. So again, not really too much to look at for 2014 because it was only a month, but 2015 is when I started kind of ramping it up a little bit. In 2015, I changed the name of the channel to Gaming 1000 Vlogs. I know, what a great name. And I expanded what I did a little bit with the channel. I had some Lego animations. I did a lot of Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. You'll see some of that showing now. I also used this one app. I think it was called Star Wars Movie Maker or something. It was something really corny. And I used that to make these, like, I guess, scenarios in Star Wars universe with like all the different characters. It was actually a pretty cool app for the time, but I overused it quite a bit and made a lot of really stupid videos with it. I had a couple Hot Wheels videos here and there of varying degrees of quality. I had movies. We're not going to delve too deep into those because those are just flat out embarrassing. A lot of the stuff from the early ages of Coliwood Studios, very embarrassing. And I ended 2015 with just under 50 subscribers. That is 50. Not many people, but hey. The fact that 50 people were subscribed to my absolutely awful channel of a whole bunch of just hodgepodge nonsense, that's pretty cool to me. We move into 2016, and that is when Coliwood Studios comes to be. I don't remember when in 2016 I took on the Coliwood Studios moniker, but it actually was made by a neighbor of mine who, from all of the movies I would constantly make, he started calling me Coliwood, and it just kind of stuck from there. So that's when it officially began. In 2016, it was a lot of the same. I did stop doing my Lego videos. I had more RCT3. I had some stick-bot things here and there. That was like a weird toy that came out back then that was kind of designed for stop motion, so I used that a little bit. I had some movies that I made, more Hot Wheels. Again, kind of more of the same, nothing too different. 2016 was actually when I went to Disney for my second time ever, and that trip I didn't actually film anything on. I was kind of just enjoying it. I didn't even think to film on it now that I think about it. But that was when the coaster kind of obsession started really getting bigger. I had always been into coasters ever since I was a little kid. I had my first Great Adventure Pass in 2008, and I had been playing Roller Coaster Tycoon both 1 and 3 for years. And 2016 was also the year that Planet Coaster came out, and I think I got that game in November of 2016, and I played so much of it from there. I ended 2016 with 80 subscribers, and 2017 is when the coasters really started to kick into the channel a little bit more. Like I said, Planet Coaster was a big game of mine, and my early day Planet Coaster creations, they were just absolutely awful. Some of the most unrealistic coasters I've ever seen. I mean, I tried, but there wasn't much I could do. I also had some coaster reviews, I had my rankings, had a lot of footage too. I really loved posting off-ride footage for some reason. I had Great Adventure, Hershey, Dorney, Six Flags New England, Casino Pier, Lake Compounds, Diggerland, Clementon Park, and I also joined ACE this year. This is when I didn't actually get to go to an event. We were supposed to go to Winter Adventure that year, which is a winter event they used to do at Great Adventure in December. Unfortunately, we were sick, so we couldn't go that year. But something cool about 2017, I did hit 100 subscribers in early April, which is right around the time Great Adventure opened for the season in 2017. And you'll notice with a lot of these off-ride shots from Great Adventure, they're all filmed in this really weird aspect ratio. I think what I did back then is I filmed them all vertically, rookie mistake. And then when I put them all in iMovie, because that was my editing choice software for the longest time, I kind of formatted them as a square, so it looks absolutely terrible, but I guess that's what we have. But you'll see the degrees of quality of the footage start to increase as I go later on in the year, but it's a lot of that square, terrible looking thing. But this is when my coaster enthusiasm really got kicking. I got to go to multiple new parks. I got to ride my first RMC and Wicked Cyclone, and I loved that ride when I first rode it. Same with Superman. I got to ride Skyrush for the first time. A whole bunch of really, really great rides that I first rode this year, and that's kind of what kicked off my idea of doing these coaster YouTube videos. And of course, there were plenty of other people doing it at the time. I know I was a big fan of Coaster Kids, Coaster Studios, Theme Park Crazy, all the big ones back then. They were the ones I was kind of looking up to try to make my content not necessarily like theirs, but kind of more in that light. And I ended 2017 with 350 subscribers, so pretty big growth from 2016 where I'd ended with 80. So we're getting there. We're slowly starting to build up, right? Now we get to 2018. I kind of have this labeled as Camcorder Colin, where this is when I got my Canon Vixia camcorder, and I absolutely love that thing. I kept it going all the way through 2020, took so many pictures and videos with it. In 2018, I did a lot of Great Adventure and Dorney coverage, nothing like what I do now, more so just like the occasional like little trip report vlog here and there, mostly just off-ride footage. And if I saw construction like on Cyborg at Great Adventure, I'd post those updates as well. We also had our Ohio Valley Coasters trip, which was the first kind of big trip we did relating specifically to coasters. The other ones relating specifically to coasters. The other ones had kind of been broken up as like day trips, but this one we started at Knoebels, went to Cedar Point, then Kings Island, then Kennywood, then home. It was our first real coaster road trip, which was really cool. Of course, filmed a ton of stuff on there. I was able to ride Steel Vengeance in its opening year, and that coaster's always meant a lot to me, so that was really, really cool as well. I also had a lot of these really terrible coaster memes I posted for some reason, kind of fitting for the time, because I also posted a lot of Fortnite videos, which, again, no correlation to roller coasters at all. That kind of shows how I used to be very like, oh, I'll post this, I'll post that, just very willy-nilly with whatever I wanted to post on the channel, which obviously is not the case anymore. But I also attended my first ACE event, which was supposed to be Winter Adventure, but it wound up being Riding of the Bull, which, if you guys haven't been around in the Great Adventure scene for that long, it was the big ACE event they did basically at the same time of year as Thrillathon, which didn't actually happen in 2024. But you got ERT, you got food, you got raffles. It was a really, really great event. Again, very similar to Thrillathon, but that was a great experience. And throughout all this time, I was making more and more friends in the coaster community, and especially some of the ones early on I'm still friends with to this day, which is really cool. And there's some more Planet Coaster thrown in the mix for 2018, and I ended that year with just under 600 subscribers. So I almost doubled my subscriber count throughout the year 2018, which is pretty cool. I had a lot of really iffy coverage of like Cedar Point, Kings Island, a lot of the bigger parks, which again, you know, attracts some people as an audience. Other people will be like, oh, this video is terrible, I'm not watching this guy. And that's probably, or I should say that this kid, because I was very young back then. But moving into 2019, this is kind of what I'm seeing is when I went full-blown coaster enthusiast mode. I had a lot of Planet Coaster videos, and these ones actually were way better than the ones from 2018. I finally started using an actual recording software instead of just filming my computer screen, so that definitely helped a lot. And my formula with the vlogs and construction updates that you guys kind of see in play throughout 2024, 23, 22, that kind of started in 2019 with my Great Adventure coverage, nowhere near on the same level of quality or kind of in-depth as the way I do it now. But that is kind of where it started and how I started covering things the way I do. Also went to Dorney, there's an ACE event at Casino Pier. Then we went on the biggest coaster road trip we had done up to that point, which I called the Midwestern Coaster Trip. I had this kind of thing where I like to name all of our trips back when I was younger, which was kind of cool. I don't really do that anymore. But on this trip we did Carowinds, Dollywood, Kentucky Kingdom, Holiday World, Kings Island, and Cedar Point. Some really, really great videos from all of that. I mean, not necessarily great in terms of quality, but a lot of really good memories from back then. It was a really, really fun time. One of my favorites is the run to Steel Vengeance. That one was just absolutely ridiculous. But from there, we had another Riding of the Bull. That one was really cool as well. That's where you're going to see a lot of my shots of King Ka from backstage, which long live the king. We also did Coaster Madness, which was a coaster enthusiast event at Dorney Park. This one was really cool because it was intertwined with their haunt event, so you got like fright lanes, so you could go through all the haunts really quickly, and their haunt event is great. There were some more reviews, vlogs, prediction videos, all of that kind of intertwined in the mix. Definitely a better year than 2018 in terms of quality of content, and I ended that year with 900 subscribers, getting close to 1,000, but not quite there. And throughout all of this, my goal was to get monetized on YouTube, so I don't know how it works anymore because I've been monetized for quite a while now. but back then you had to hit 1,000 subscribers and have 4,000 public watch hours over the course of 12 months. So from the date that you were looking to 12 months before that date. And once you hit that threshold, you would enter the YouTube Partner Program and be able to monetize your videos with ads. And that was kind of my goal. I wanted to, make this somewhat successful, and this has always been my goal ever since I started. I wanted to get successful, have fun with it, of course, but that really didn't start coming to reality until I saw my subscriber count get close to 1,000, and then I was like, ooh, that's one out of the 2 requirements that'll be done, and then soon enough, maybe I'll be monetized, which obviously it would be a little longer until that wound up happening. We enter 2020, which I kind of see as like my last big push. I really wanted to get monetized at this point, so my formula starts to become a little more recognizable, especially with my Jersey Devil coverage, and my Jersey Devil coverage kind of wound up being what would propel me more into the spotlight, which was really, really cool. But I would have all my updates. I had an American Dream trip right before COVID hit, and I hit 1,000 subscribers as well. Of course, the pandemic kind of changed things a lot. During the pandemic, I had these weekly COVID trivia streams. I think I did 10 of them, where I'd have like all these different trivia questions. People would join, I'd stream it. It was actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that I was able to do that. Had some more Planet Coaster stuff in the mix. And then once the parks reopened around like June, July, that's when I started having my really close coverage of the big 3 in our area, being Great Adventure, Hershey, and Dorney, and kind of compared them all with how they're doing for COVID. Pretty much right after all the local parks started to open back up for COVID, we went on the final trip that I actually named, well, second to final actually, the Lone Star Summer Trip. This trip still is one of my favorite trips that we've ever done. We flew into St. Louis, did Six Flags St. Louis, then went down to Silver Dollar City, then we went to Frontier City, Six Flags over Texas, Six Flags Fiesta Texas, SeaWorld, and then flew home from San Antonio. Still look back on that trip as a really, really great time, and I filmed a lot on it as well. It took me forever to get all those videos out. If you look back, the release dates of all the vlogs were like months apart. It was ridiculous. But that also kind of comes to that lack of motivation I started to have over the end of summer. Before that, though, I did ride Sammy's coaster, Black Stallion, and that was a nice little boost because a lot of people really love seeing backyard coasters, so that was really cool. But like I said, I kind of had this lack of motivation start once I saw that my content really wasn't doing as well as I hoped it would. I wasn't really getting close to the metrics that I wanted to reach in order to be able to get monetized and just continue to grow it and make it more sustainable. So I continued doing more Jersey Devil coverage throughout the end of the year. It wasn't very successful, but then wound up ending the year with 1.1k subscribers, so gained about 200. As you can see, the growth really is kind of starting to stagnate a little bit, and at this point I was really starting to think that I might as well just throw up the white flag and call it a day and stop really trying and just kind of do it if I wanted to, as opposed to out of feeling obligation, which I don't want to imply that I just do this out of obligation. It's more so that it's both I enjoy it and I see the results that come from it. Everyone that enjoys the content, that kind of makes me want to keep doing it. But back then, when I didn't have that large fan base of people who really enjoyed the content, it was really hard to find the motivation to keep doing it. But then we get to 2021, and I kind of see this as the breakout year where everything really started to get big. So it was a slow start. I was covering Great Adventure and Jersey Devil. Like I said, Jersey Devil was pivotal in the success of this channel back then, but it still wasn't that successful. I had the occasional big video here and there, specifically with Jersey Devil. Covering Jersey Devil was probably what kept me going with this, because I would go back to the park every week or whatever time frame it was in between visits and see more updates, share them with you guys. And there were only a couple of us doing it at that point, so everyone kind of gravitated to just the couple of channels that were doing it, with me being one of them. And then the one I kind of see as the big break was when I was able to catch Jersey Devil testing. I was the first one to catch it. I don't think it was actually the first cycle, but it was the first cycle with guests in the park able to see it, and I went absolutely nuts over that. That video's definitely gone down in infamy in terms of my commentary, but it was really, really cool to see, and it's not that often that you're going to be able to catch a coaster testing like that so early on. And it's funny because right after that, I went to Coaster Mania in Cedar Point, which is another coaster event they have. So I did Cedar Point, Kings Island, and Lakemont Park. Then right when I came back, Jersey Devil opened. I was actually invited to the media event for Jersey Devil, which was really cool. That was the first one I got to go to. And all the Jersey Devil coverage really started pumping up the channel big time, started getting me closer and closer to that 4,000 public watch hour metric, which really excited me. And then, went to some more New Jersey area parks like Coney Island and a few others as well. Just continued gaining traction with my great adventure coverage. Mainly that was kind of my bread and butter. I started doing my voiceover videos a little bit more, where I would kind of pretty much do exactly what I'm doing right now, just talk over whatever topic I want to talk about, have some footage playing, and those started to do really well as well. And then we had our New England trip, Florida trip, Thrillathon, all of that. And in the mix of that, I believe it was July was when I got the notification that I was eligible for the YouTube Partner Program. I went crazy. I was so excited. But then I got denied because they didn't like the catalog of content that was on the channel. I guess mainly because I had kept everything from when I was a little kid. So they saw all my stupid Lego videos and all that. So what I did was make Coliwood archives. That's where I kind of archived all the old content. You'll see a lot of it missing from this channel, and it's now over there. That's why I had to do it. And then a month after that was when I was actually able to become monetized, which was such an exciting moment. That had been like my main goal for a while, and being able to reach that really got me that extra motivation to keep going with this. And obviously we see now that continues. But in addition to all of that, there was a lot of stuff with Bizarro going on, and that again helped with the watch hours and getting more views, more subscribers, because there was a retheme going on. We were kind of theorizing on it, and I was actually able to predict it pretty dead on with saying that it would be rethemed to Medusa. And of course I was right, which was really cool. I had some success with my Fright Fest, Little Devil content, Holiday in the Park videos, my membership and pass recommendations. I also did my first proper year in review, which has become an annual tradition for the channel, which was really cool. And I ended that year with 1.8K subscribers. So I gained 700 subscribers, which by far the most I had gained in a single year. And then 2022 is kind of where we entered the POV and the media realm, as I like to call it. That's when I had gotten my GoPro equipment and I started filming POVs, of course, with permission. And in order to get that permission, I had to enter the PR and media realm. And I was able to make so many connections with officials from across the country at different parks, which was really cool. I finally hit 2,000 subscribers at the start of this year, continued my great adventure coverage. I was covering the memberships and passes at Six Flags, the Medusa announcement and all the other 2022 stuff, and then covering it, including both Medusa and Toro, because that was after Toro's first incident. So I was covering a lot of that, and it all just kept going and going and just getting bigger and bigger. That's kind of where I started to gain the reputation of finding each and every little change at the park, especially with my Everything New video, where I spotted just everything they had done. Started building connections with the other parks. We went to Florida, we went to Ohio again. And again, that great adventure content just continued. Then I had some POV content popping up with all the parks that had allowed me to film. And then the great adventure summer content, again with the Summer Vibes Festival, Medusa, really continued to elevate the channel. Then I was covering the corporate side of Six Flags, because that was around the time when Salim's vision was starting to come in with the kind of new way he wanted to run the company. And I had also met Salim early on in 2022, which, as I'm sure many of you know, would then lead to me being able to interview him in October, which was absolutely huge. That is still one of my proudest achievements. And the fact that I was able to do it again a year later was so cool. And I forever will be thankful to him for allowing me that opportunity. I also had an Insta360 partnership and more events through Fright Fest, Haunt. We went to Tennessee, we went to Georgia and all the parks along the East Coast. It was a very busy year, and I wound up ending the year with 4,000 subscribers. So massive growth from 2021. And then we get to what I'm calling 2023 and beyond, which is where we are now, because really the way I've been running the channel for the past 2 years hasn't changed too much. We have the same kind of way that we cover great adventure, other parks, just switching it out every summer for the different trips we do. But in 2023 and by proxy 2024, we had the drone videos come out and just continued coverage of great adventure, Six Flags as a whole, Hershey, Dorney, exploring tons of parks across the country with similar success to how I kind of cover the home parks as well, which was really exciting to see from the perspective of trying to grow Coliwood Studios to be more than just New Jersey based. Then we were able to also go to multiple media events, which includes Wildcats Revenge, Top Thrill 2, Iron Menace, and more, which is so cool to be able to not only ride coasters right when they're opening, but also be able to create content around that and appeal to such a large base of people. It is so cool, and wound up ending 2023 with 12,000 subscribers, and we are on track to hit 24,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. So obviously 2023 and 2024 have by far been the biggest years for Coliwood Studios, and I hope to see that growth just continue. I really cannot thank all of you guys enough. We are currently sitting at 14.6 million views and 368,000 hours of watch time for the entire life of Coliwood Studios. Now, obviously, I would not be where I am right now without everyone who has helped me along the way. I want to especially thank my dad for taking me to all the parks and kind of encouraging me along the way in order to get to where I am now, and everyone that has been to great adventure with me constantly, put up with me, and just helped me as I navigated the YouTube world. I really do appreciate all of you, and on screen now are all the fan pictures that you guys sent in. If it wasn't for all of you, I would not be anywhere near where I'm at right now. You guys are the heart and soul of Coliwood Studios. You guys are the reason I continue to do this, and I continue to care so much, and I really thank you all so much for that, and especially thank you all for stopping, saying hi, taking pictures. It really does mean a lot, and kind of shows me that my work is paying off, that you guys are appreciating it, because at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. Of course, I enjoy it too, but I want to make content and entertainment that appeals to you guys. And judging off of where we are right now, I definitely think that we've been able to do that. And I, again, cannot thank all of you enough for that. We're at 10 years of Coliwood Studios now. Who knows what the next 10 years will bring, but hopefully I'll be able to be doing this in some capacity 10 years from now. We'll have to wait and see. But if you guys enjoyed this kind of look back on all of Coliwood Studios, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, guys.